Oh boy. I can't believe how quickly the season has surpassed us. I mean, what better way to advance to the Super Bowl than having to watch these two teams battle it out? These four teams battle it out. We got four teams. We got two games, 1 day of football left, all to the side. Who moves on to Vegas? What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to our conference championship edition of Meat on the 50. Yes, it is the NFL playoffs. It is NFL conference championship weekend. 4 teams left, 2 games to decide who moves on to the Super Bowl. And man, oh man, if the NFL script writers are correct, then I mean, everybody knows who's moving on to the Super Bowl based on the colors of the Super Bowl logo. But we still have games to discuss. We still got to break it down. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to our conference championship edition of Meat on the 50. You know what time it is. It is time to break down these 2 games that we have left to decide who moves on to the grand finale of the Super Bowl of the NFL. Hi, how's it going? I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. And as always, joining me, he is my best friend. He is the other half of the Sports Guys. He is none other than Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how are you doing, my friend?
Just want to fast forward to Sunday. I'm just anxious to see what happens. After last week, anything could happen. So, excited that my team is still in the tournament and, hoping that this year, the last 2 years didn't go our way. And we went to the Super Bowl in February of 2020 and then Kobe O crew happened that I told you. And now 2 years, there was a year off there, but the 2 years in a row, we fell short. Obviously, close game against Los Angeles, Rams. We all know how that ended. And then, Brock Purdy last year, getting hurt. And so want some redemption, want to get back to the Super Bowl. So I'm excited and anxious to see if we are able to punch our ticket this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going down. We have 2 electrifying games that are going to take place on Sunday. The last game I am completely excited for because it's just a matchup that you definitely would not have expected to be taking place during this NFL playoffs. The first game, so we'll see what happens, and we'll break that all down here in just a sec. But let's quickly remind you how we did last week. Let's put it up on the screen. For Brandon, perfect divisional round, 4-0, 1-0 on his guaranteed victories. The Niners getting by the skin of their teeth, showing a lot of heart there on a very rainy day, very rainy night there at Levi's Stadium, getting the job done against the Packers. And then for myself, 2-2, 0-1 on my guaranteed victory, me taking a shot in the dark, hoping that the Texans could possibly knock off the Baltimore Ravens. Was not to be the case. And then for our special guest, who did not join us last week, but overall for the season, or for the playoffs that puts us at, we'll start our special guest. Special guest right now at 3-3, 1-0 on their guaranteed victories. We unfortunately, schedule's not aligning for our special guests these last 2 weeks. But good news is I do believe that we have them lined up going forward, so that should be nice. And then for myself, 5-5, 1-1 on my guaranteed victories. And then for Brandon, 6-4, 1-1 on his guaranteed victories as well. Let's wipe those off the screen. Nice and easy. Let's get into it. You ready for these games, my friend?
Sir.
Then kicking us off on Sunday, starting us off in the afternoon, we have our AFC Championship battle. We got the Kansas City Chiefs again traveling on the road. This time, they will be traveling to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. 1 seed versus the 3 seed. What do you got for me?
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very just a all around just very intriguing game. Yep. I mean, obviously, you got the defending Super Bowl champions going to Baltimore to play against the juggernaut in the AFC and the MVP. So you got Patrick Mahomes coming off his first road win in Buffalo in thrilling fashion. Obviously, just a very close, competitive game, proving, that he was able to win a playoff game on the road and proving that he's worthy with his 6th straight advanced ticket to the AFC Championship. Only this time he will not be playing it at home. He will be on the road in Baltimore. And then you got Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews potentially returning. You got Odell Beckham. You got Zay Flowers. They have a pretty good offense. Run game looked good last week. Defense is stout. So I went back and forth on this one. I really did. I was, there's an argument for obviously the Chiefs and Mahomes. I mean, they have the pedigree and, they've went to the Super Bowl multiple times, 3 times. Everybody on that team knows what it takes to get over the hump. And, one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the league currently, in Andy Reid. And Mahomes by far, I don't think it's even close right now, currently, now that the GOAT has retired. Is the best quarterback in the league. So you got the best quarterback against the best defense. And, and then you got Lamar, who's very flashy, who can run the ball, down people's throats, you never know what they're going to do. And a defense that is extremely stout and stingy with giving up rush yards and pass yards and things like that. But then you look back at the regular season and you look at flashes like the Rams taking them to overtime. And you see some of these games where you kind of question whether or not that defense has the ability to be vulnerable at times. And looking at this situation, it's almost like I want to flip a coin because it's like
flip a coin for sure.
It's very, very, very close. But I gotta go with the Ravens. Okay. I gotta go with the Ravens. I do think the Ravens are able to win this game. I think they win it very closely. I'm not picking that with a lot of confidence, but I think that they find a way because they are at home. And I just think they have more talent than the Chiefs. I would not be surprised one bit if the Chiefs were able to win this game, but something tells me it's going to be a low-scoring game. Mm-hmm. And the Ravens are going to win this one 20-17. I think that they get it done. And I think Tucker, whether it's, a game winner or whether it's, basically no score in the fourth quarter or whatever, I just think that at some point the game's tied 17-17 and Tucker gets that kick and that ends it. So I got to go with the Ravens here, and they will advance to Las Vegas.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be a very intriguing matchup, like you said. I mean, it makes me want to vomit. I want to claw my eyes out, and I can't believe I have to subject myself to watch this game, nor can't believe I have to subject myself to having one of these two teams advance to the Super Bowl. If it were me, I mean, it would just be nice if, something happened that, catastrophic. I don't know, a gigantic gap in the middle of M&T Bank Stadium opened up and everybody fell into something. Yeah. It'd be more beneficial for me if both of these teams somehow managed to lose. And then they were just like, you know what, let's just have the Super Bowl as the Lions and the Niners. But I guess since that can't happen, who cares about conferences anyway? Why? It should just be, the best teams. How about that? None of these conference BS. So with that being said, Yeah, I'm going Ravens easy, 32-21 or 22. I'm gonna go 32-22.
Ooh,
Ravens.
easy, huh?
Ravens, I think, absolutely dominate the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't good at all. If it wasn't for how bad the Bills actually are, the Chiefs should be at home eliminated right now, and I should be rooting my heart out for the Buffalo Bills. But Josh Allen, I guess, didn't want me to do that. So here we are. Here we are. The Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, defense wins championships. Patrick Mahomes, I think outside of having Travis Kelce, I don't think is going to get the exact same performance that he got from his other players around, on offense and things like that. Isaiah Pacheco, I think, was good, but he hasn't ran against this Ravens defense. Travis Kelce, are they going to be able to take him away? Now, this whole thing with Mark Andrews being designated for a return. So is he going to be able to return for the conference championship game? If he isn't, he'll for sure be able to return for the Super Bowl. But if he's able to return for the conference championship game, that just adds another wrinkle to that Ravens offense. I mean, the Ravens are heating up on offense right now. Isaiah Likely, Zay Flowers, OBJ, Gus Edwards, right? These guys, I mean, they're starting to heat up at the right time. And yeah, NFL's all rigged anyways, right? It's all NFL script writers, right? So that logo, right, being blue and red, I think we both know what teams are going to advance to the Super Bowl. Baltimore Ravens get the job done, I think, pretty easily against the Kansas City Chiefs, 32-22 there at home to advance to Las Vegas to the Super Bowl. To take on. We'll find out here in just a second. Moving on to our night game. We got the team that has shocked the world. We got the Detroit rolling Motor City Lions traveling on down to Levi Stadium for the NFC Conference Championship game. Yes, let me repeat myself. The Detroit Lions are traveling down to Levi Stadium for the NFC Conference Championship game, and they will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Lions, Niners, one will advance to the Super Bowl. Obviously, we know who you're going with, but give it to us.
Yeah, so I'm not that shocked that we're playing the Lions in the NFC Championship game. The reason why I say that is I already knew the Cowboys were fraudulent all along, so I didn't think they were going to make it to the NFC Championship game. I thought they'd either get bounced by us or Philly. I'm surprised that it's not Philly because I thought that we would be in the same position this year playing Philly. But if you were to tell me, hey, before the season started or as the season started, who do you think you're going to play in the NFC Championship game? And it's not Philly. I would not say the Cowboys. I would think it would be the Lions. So I just thought the Lions last year, when they sent Aaron Rodgers packing, there was something there. And I thought, they have the ability definitely to win their division. And if they're going to win their division, if it's not Philly, I thought it would be them. So I'm not going to say that I predicted this or anything like that. And I'm not surprised because I am surprised. I thought it was going to be Philly, but I'm not shocked. Gotcha. The Lions are a very good team. They have an extremely good coach. They're extremely well coached. They have some great running backs. They have a great, young tight end in Laporta. They have all-pro wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Just got Zach
Ertz, which is a big pickup. He's a veteran that's won a Super Bowl. Some championship pedgree, like Jake likes to mention, on the team now. He knows how to get over the hump. So, just everything about the team, except for I do not like Gardner Johnson. I think he's a punk. Everybody else on the team. Yeah, everybody else on the team, I really do like. I think that, Aiden Hutchinson is a straight beast. He's like the new Nick Bosa.
Yeah,
he is like baller. And, Colt McKivitz on the right side, you better look out because Aiden Hutchinson is going to be coming for Brock, and we got to make sure that doesn't happen. So, Lions, Looking really good. Jared Goff playing very well in his 2 playoff games. Jared Goff not so well against the Niners, 3-6 in his career, and a couple of those games where I think against Nick Mullins when it really mattered, I think he's like 1-5. So we'll see. The thing about Jared Goff is I think mentally he's kind of weak. I think that, is if we can rattle him a little bit, and I've seen his games against the Niners is what I'm going off of. You hit him a little bit, he kind of loses that confidence. Brock Purdy kind of brushes it off, but Jared Goff kind of gets into his head. And the Lions played extremely well against probably one of the best home crowds in NFL history.
Yeah.
You now have to go to Santa Clara where they don't play games. The Niners fans don't play games. It gets very there. And the Niners have a chip on their shoulder for last year because they felt that they should have been in the Super Bowl. So 2 straight times in the NFC Championship game. This is the 3rd straight year of the NFC Championship game. 2 times you failed, weren't able to get there. Now, you lost to Matt Stafford, which is a much better quarterback, in my opinion, than Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And then that team was completely loaded. And then you lost to the Eagles where you didn't have a chance. So the Niners have a chance to right their wrongs and to advance to the Super Bowl. And I think that that's what they'll do. Because there's no rain. There's no rain in the forecast. Knocking on wood for Sunday. I've checked it often. There's no rain. Brock Purdy is going to play better than he played last week with no rain and just with a game plan. If we don't have Deebo Samuel, I still think that we will win this game. If we have Deebo Samuel, I think it makes it more of a not close game.
Gotcha.
Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the league. We're going to feed him. They're really good at stopping the run, but they're horrible at stopping the pass. So I expect Ayuk and Kittle to eat. I think that they're going to get a lot of yards. I think that Brock Purdy's going to throw for 300 plus yards in this game. I think it's going to be a thriller. I really do. I think the Lions, it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be very close, too close for comfort. And I'm going to be like, because I was saying this on Saturday with my friend Lou here. I said, you know what? I just want this to end. I just want this game to end because my heart cannot handle this. And I feel like that is going to be the same thing on Sunday. But I expect that I think the rain and not playing for 3 weeks with all that rust and playing a super hot team that had all the confidence in the world, I think that you needed to have that comeback game.
Definitely.
And you need to have this to because this is the way I look at it, Jake. Their life flashed before their eyes. And there was not a person in that stadium, and there was not a fan on this planet that didn't think for a second our season might be over. Because everybody, if you are lying blatantly, if you did not think even if it was just for a millisecond or a second after Aaron Jones ran that ball and we had hardly any time left, that our season was going to be over because we were playing horribly.
Yeah.
Your life flashes before your eyes. Sometimes that wakes you up. And I have a feeling that we're going to build off this momentum, and it is going to take us to the NFC Championship game, to the Super Bowl and advance from the NFC Championship game and go to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas to face the Baltimore Ravens. I am going to pick like Deebo Samuel's not playing. So this is the score. If Deebo Samuel does not play, I'm not going to give another score. I'm just going to assume he doesn't play because his shoulder's banged up and he'll be back for the Super Bowl. I got the 49ers in a thriller, 31-30.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this game, man, oh man, what a game we are setting up to view on Sunday. It's giving me Bengals, Chiefs vibes of 2021. I mean, you have a team that historically has been bad. I mean, just historically has been very, very bad. And you have a team that is on the literal cusp. The cusp, so close, everybody can taste it. That's how close, that's how on the cusp this team is, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, what a game we have here. What a battle of quarterbacks, right? Jared Goff coming home to his home in the Bay Area to face, I mean, a team that he grew up loving as well. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Jared Goff, you know, I do hear what you're saying where, you know, he does get kind of rattled, but this is a different Jared Goff. This is a very different Jared Goff. And I think with the amount of support and the amount of backing that he has received from not only the Lions locker room, but these fans. I mean, the fans were just screaming, chanting Jared Goff, something I never thought I would ever see in my life. Jared Goff having his name screamed throughout the entire stadium. That's going to give you a level of confidence that is going to be very hard to shake. Now, Mike Tyson, the greatest, one of the greatest boxers of all time, has
pound for pound the greatest boxer, pound for pound,
has one of the greatest quotes of all time, right? Everybody has a plan until they get socked in the mouth, right? Until they get punched in the mouth. So, you know, the Lions are going to come in here with a plan. But just like you said, Jared Goff is going to come in here with a plan. But what's going to happen when he gets socked across his face? Is that plan still going to be in place? So what I love about this game is this is really weapon for weapon, honestly. I mean, defense, offense. You look across the board, this is a weapon versus weapon game. This is an Ayuk versus an Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is a Juwan Jennings versus a Josh Reynolds. This is a Sam Laporta versus a George Kittle. This is an Aiden Hutchinson versus Nick Bosa. This is a
Penei Sewell versus Trent Williams.
I mean, exactly. Like, this is a heavyweight battle across the entire roster here, where you almost have every single player cancel out each other but based on the talent. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery. I mean, these guys, I mean,
but where is the main one that doesn't cancel each other out?
It's going to be, we'll see what happens there. It's going to be at the quarterback. Who can be the better quarterback? You know, the last thing that Niners fans want to do here is underestimate Jared Goff, because Jared Goff will come in here and he'll embarrass you.
Oh, no,
he'll embarrass the San Francisco 49ers.
I'm not underestimating Jared Goff. I just think on the road, and again, in the second half, he is a different quarterback.
Again, but I hear you, but the mental makeup of Jared Goff, we're going to see it, because this man has been through a lot in his very young NFL career. He's already been to a Super Bowl. He got absolutely destroyed. He had a city give up on him. He had to move to, I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, Detroit is not the nicest city in America, right? You know, he had to go to Detroit. He had to rebuild his entire image. So, you know, the Detroit Lions, I mean, talk about embodying your city's kind of like representation about your city and everything like that. The Detroit Lions are Michigan's team. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The San Francisco 49ers
has been through just as much. I mean, I look at like you were the last pick in the draft.
Somewhat, not as much as
not your as UCL, much. People wrote you off.
Yeah.
I mean, but Jared Goff was the number one pick. He was the golden boy. I mean, people loved Jared. He got all this recognition. He went number one pick in the draft. You know, he did go to the Super Bowl. He was appraised. The problem is the main thing that I look at is Brock Purdy is the true underdog story. Number one pick in the draft is never a true underdog story, in my opinion.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Brock definitely has the underdog on with him as well.
First pick in the draft versus the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the story you couldn't have. The NFL honestly couldn't have asked for a better story / build up to this game. I mean, with just the amount of ties that go into this, the amount of things that you can, levy against each other, it really is remarkable how well this worked out for the NFL. With that being said, back to the game. This game is going to go to overtime. This game is going to be won by the San Francisco 49ers, and this game is going to be 27-24 with Jake Moody hitting a 45-yard walk-off field goal in overtime. Now, back to the buildup of this game. Yeah, I mean, this game is going to go back and forth. I mean, I fully expect both of these teams to come in ready. It's all going to start. I mean, Yeah, this game is very, very interesting. This game, with the Lions need to come in and start off hot. They got to come in, they got to sock the Niners right in the mouth. I'm talking about quick 7 points, quick 14 points. They got to come in and they got to set the place on fire. Niners need to take all of this momentum that the Detroit Lions have coming into this game, and they need to end it quickly. I'm talking about Bengals Titans 2021. First play of the game was a pick by Ryan Tannehill. That's what needs to happen with the San Francisco 49ers. They need to come out, pick the ball off of Jared Goff, and immediately go down the field and score. This game is going to be who can gather the momentum last and who can make the biggest punch first. That's what this game is going to go down to. There's a lot of X factors here. A lot of X factors to this game because of how evenly matched this game is across the board. But overall, I think we are set for a thrilling end to, this playoffs. Obviously, the Super Bowl technically is the last game of the playoffs, but this really is the end of the playoffs here because it's going to come down to two teams. But we're done with the conference play. We know who the best conference teams are once we get to the Super Bowl. This is where it ends right here. So this is a massive game for Detroit. I think anything can happen. Anything can happen. And my heart wants Detroit to win just because of how dumped on they have been in my lifetime. I've never seen them be good. Never seen them be good ever. So this is incredible, honestly. But for Brandon's sake, for Andy's sake, for Roy's sake, and for all my Niners fans, I got to root for the Niners just because,
would have a better chance though too at beating the Ravens or the Chiefs, a 49ers team who has the experience.
Ravens is Bengals Rams of 21, and the Ravens would win. Niners Ravens, I think it's a true rematch of 2012, and I think that's the better game. But I do think if it's the Lions Ravens, that is like I think it is David versus Goliath.
I agree.
And the Lions have a chance, just like the Bengals had a chance against the Ravens. But ultimately, I do think that the Ravens would come out on top, just barring NFL and that kind of stuff. But Niners, Ravens, that's the rematch. Regardless of who makes it in the AFC, we're going to get a rematch if the Niners win the NFC. We're either going to get a rematch of the Chiefs or we're going to get a rematch of the Ravens. So who do the Niners want to rematch? That's a better question, I think. Who would you rather rematch? Who would you rather rematch?
Probably the Ravens, because the Ravens, Lamar Jackson and all of them have not won a Super Bowl. I don't want to go against the reigning Super Bowl champs. That's the thing. If the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl last year, it'd be different. But they were just there. You think they're scared of anybody?
True.
The Ravens have never been there. There's going to be nerves. You're on a neutral field. It's not all business anymore because you're not going on the road and there's media, there's bright lights, there's all kinds of stuff. It's a little bit different than playing in San Francisco on a regular season game.
Definitely.
So my thing is I'd rather play the Ravens. I think the Ravens Super Bowl broke my heart more than the Chiefs Super Bowl. The Ravens Super Bowl ripped my heart out. I was not the same for a while after that. It destroyed me that we came down to the end and Kaepernick, there was a whole on Crabtree that they didn't call by Jerome Boger, and the rest was history. I mean, Frank Gore, I wanted a Super Bowl so badly for. Yeah. Patrick Willis, I wanted it so badly for. Justin Smith, all these guys that I grew up loving. I mean, because I was becoming a man when the 49ers lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was already a man when they lost to the Chiefs. So my thing is I loved Kaepernick more than I loved Jimmy. That is when I go back to those days where it was before he became just this pretentious whatever.
Yeah.
The year that they went to the Super Bowl, I absolutely loved Kaepernick more than I loved Jimmy. I wanted that whole team, Vernon Davis, Frank Gore, Joe Staley, that whole team to get the Super Bowl. And for us to lose to Joe Flacco and the Ravens, it just didn't make sense to me. And so my thing is I feel like if we advance, it will go the other way where it won't make sense, but the Niners will win. Because they'll be like, oh, we lost to Purdy. We lost to Flacco. I still can't get over that. Ravens fans are going to think, oh, this is going to be, we already beat them in the regular season, and we're just going to go ahead and, we have Lamar Jackson, they have Purdy. We're not, they're there. And I've always said, I think that the 49ers are going to win a Super Bowl the year that everybody least expects it. Nobody's going to be expecting it if the Niners go against the Ravens. Really, I mean, the Ravens should absolutely be the favorites in that game. But to me, I prefer a rematch against the Ravens. I just do. If we lose, we lose. We could lose to either team, the Chiefs. But I'm saying personally, I don't think the Ravens are that much better than the Chiefs. I think both teams are pretty even. Like, they would probably both beat us if I'm being completely transparent.
Okay.
But I just would rather personally that Ravens Super Bowl hit me harder.
I mean, the good news is we're going to get an answer in just a little bit here. We got 4 teams, 2 games, 1 day. It all shakes out to decide who is going to move on to this year's Super Bowl in Las Vegas. Is it going to be the Detroit Lions or the San Francisco 49ers? Or is it going to be the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens? 2 of those teams from either conference are going to represent their respective conference in the Super Bowl. And I mean, man, what a finale. Honestly, what a finale we are getting to the NFL season. Obviously, I'm rooting more for the NFC side just because looks like the better game. But who knows? The Ravens Chiefs could also be an absolutely outstanding game, and it very well may be, just because of that level of competition there and the level of competition that those 2 teams bring. With that being said, that's going to do it for this edition of Meat on the 50. I mean, we are done. We are done, essentially, with this NFL regular season. Next week is an off week. Next week, we will bring you our year in review. We're just going to go through and kind of recap how we thought different teams shook out during this NFL season and what we can expect going into next season. So we'll have that for you. It's a nice little, going to be an easy week next week, just because we'll have a review, and then we'll have kind of our regular season review episode, which we hoping that the schedule works out. We should have a special guest for, so I'll be very excited to get their opinion as well. Brandon, any last words for the people? One final word, any kind of message you want to send to Niner Empire out there? Get them ready. What do you got for us?
Our time. It is our time. We've, we were here last year. We couldn't get the job done. We've been blessed with another opportunity to be in the same situation with pretty much everybody healthy, pretty much. And we have the opportunity of a lifetime, #1 seed at home. This is what you play for. So you did all the work all season. It was an ugly win last week, but you snatched victory from the hands of defeat. You dodged the Grim Reaper, and now you have 1 more week to potentially go to the entertainment capital of the world and, finish off the job. So you got to win this week, or else I'm going to say this. It'll be disastrous if we don't win this. So I know you guys will get the job done. I don't know how it's going to be. It may not be pretty, maybe ugly, but it may be pretty. Who knows? But opportunity of a lifetime. These opportunities don't come often. This group of guys, they all have busted their tails off, and from coaching staff all the way to special teams, we've got to come out focused, and we cannot take the Lions lightly. You have the blueprint on Jared Goff. You played against him several times. Don't fix it. Don't try to change things if it's worked. And so just come out and take what the defense gives you, Brock. And please take us to the Super Bowl and beat one. Nobody wants one of those other 2 teams to win. So please, if we're ending Taylor Swift, let's do that. If we're ending this guy that doesn't even know how to interviews, let's do that. But save us, because if the Lions go, I don't care who they play, they're not winning.
I mean, it ain't going to be pretty. It's going to be purdy. So, I mean, we got it all set up. The table set, the plates, the tables, the forks, the spoons, the napkins, the glasses. It's all ready to go. All that's left is for you to sit down and eat. Respectively, all that's left is for you guys to take the field and play the goddamn game. But with that being said, it is going down. We have reached the finale of our conference play. After this weekend, we will know who is going to be in the grand finale for this NFL season, who is going to be in the Super Bowl, who is going to be representing their respective conferences there in Las Vegas. Obviously, we hope it's the Niners. Hopefully, no other team makes it and they just give it to the Niners or the Lions. But if that has to be happening, hopefully the Niners can get their revenge on the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to do it for this edition of Meat on the 50. I am Jacob Cutler, one half of the Sports Guys. He is one of my best friends, and the other half of the Sports Guys, he is Mr. Brandon Sullivan. And until our conference championship review episode, go Niners, baby. Brandon and Jake, we're out.